Good afternoon, and thank you for boarding with No I'm Obsessed Airways. We have taken over Spirit Airways routes, but unfortunately, this will be a downgrade. However, we have no overhead bin, so you will have to carry your carry-on in your lap. This also means that there are no pull-down trays, so use your carry-on as necessary. The snacks we have available are some leftover Biscoff cookies that we stole from Delta and tap water from out of the bathroom sink. It's been recirculated though, so it's clean. Don't worry. And that smell coming from it, it's just because it's a little compacted in here, but I promise it's all good. There is no E. coli. We made sure to test it with strips before we poured it into the floss cups. It looks like this is about a 15-hour flight, so you will have to hold your bags in your lap for the entire duration. Please make sure there are no bags in the walkway, as us and my fellow flight attendants will need to walk through. Okay? Okay. There are no crying babies on this flight. Crying babies will be ejected immediately. In the event of an emergency, please do not look for me to help you out because it is every man for himself here at No I'm Obsessed Airways. That should cover just about everything. Our pilot for today is dealing with a little bit of food poisoning from his leftover Thai, so just bear with us. Is anyone here an experienced pilot? Because we may need you to help take over just for a little bit. You know, food poisoning, he's really got the runs, he's really got to go. So we just raise your hand if you have a little bit of experience and we'll come grab you as needed. Thank you. Thank you. There are no seatbelts on this plane, by the way. We got this plane from Temu, and it was a little bit extra to get seatbelts. So just hold your carry-on really tight, and that should do it. All right, I think that about covers everything. So if you need me, don't. Enjoy your flight with No I'm Obsessed Airways, and be sure to leave us a 5-star review on Google or Yelp, wherever you prefer. Thank you. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. The way I switched accents 5 times throughout that entire thing, it's giving method actor. It's giving method actor. Somebody needs to get me an agent on the line. You guys, I'm feeling really peculiar today. I feel like that's the best word to describe how I'm feeling. And it could be the fact that I have not slept in over 24 hours. It could be that I have not eaten since 8 a.m. and it is now 3:44, but that's okay because we're intermittent fasting. Have you ever heard of that? Have you ever heard of it? We're intermittent fasting, okay? Because it's summer. It's summer. And I got a lot of work to do, okay? I'm like a sim right now. I'm like a sim. My plumb bob, that's what they're called, right? I think that's what they're called. My plumb bob. So that is such an interesting name. How do you look at a spherical diamond? A diamond and say that's a plumb bob? Well, I guess that's Simlish. I guess it's Simlish for diamond, right? Anywho, if I was a sim right now, my diamond, my plumb bob would be orange. It would be orange, and I'm stuck in the kitchen. I'm glitching. Tim, whoever's playing me right now, is trying to get me to complete a task, but you gotta force quit. You're gonna have to force quit. It's rough right now. I'm trying to wash dishes in the bathroom. I'm trying to take a bath in the pool. It's just too much going on right now. It's a lot going on up here. I'm just feeling very peculiar. I'm feeling okay, if I was in creative sim mode right now and I was picking my traits, I would be paranoid, skittish, and fucking, what is the nice way of their absent-minded. I'm skittish, absent-minded, and paranoid. I need a straight jacket on right now. I am feeling very peculiar right now. So we are going to see how this goes because I'm feeling peculiar. Let's see. What do we have to start with today? And yes, this accent, we're just going to go in and out of this all day, okay? Because I need something to kind of ground me back down to reality. Or maybe this is just taking me further out of reality. I don't know, but we got to get through this, okay? So just bear with me. We've got lots to discuss today. I have a lot to say. I have a lot to. Love Island, the most insufferable person you know. The most I feel like there are quite a bit of things that I want to touch on today. And so let's just dig in. Let's just get into it right now. Let's just get right on in. No foreplay. We're going for it. We're going in dry. I'm so sorry. Um Love Island, the most insufferable person you know is counting down the days until season 8 of Love Island premieres. I am the most insufferable person you know. I'm about to get my personality back, you guys. I I like lie dormant. I lie dormant from like August, whenever the Love Island season ends, like middle of July. I lie dormant from like the middle of July to like the beginning of June. I just have like an 11-month dormant period, and I come back to life, and I get my personality back as soon as Love Island comes back. It's we will be having discussions here. So go ahead and get your Peacock accounts ready because it's island time. It is island time, sweetheart. Now, unfortunately, Love Island is the euphoria of reality TV. And by that, I mean it brings out the worst takes. It brings out the worst kind of person. Twitter, if you think Twitter is insufferable during euphoria, please just spend a couple weeks on Love Island Twitter. Love Island USA specifically. I feel like the USA, and this is very, it's very on brand. It's the USA. Of course we have the most insufferable watchers. Of course we do. Because it's the USA. It only makes sense. The USA, and it was not always like this. Because when Love Island USA, for the USA OGs, when Love Island came on CBS, even like early Peacock, like season 4, it was fine. It was cool. I used to get active, okay? I used to get active on Love Island Twitter. As soon as it started to blow up, oh my God, it's like the worst person you know. I'm the most insufferable person you know that's excited for it, but also like on the other end, the worst person you know with the absolute worst takes is seated every night for Love Island USA and will be tweeting till their fingers bleed on Love Island USA Twitter. And so after season 7, like the god awful takes that we had to endure, the viewership is only going to increase because last season was insane. I don't know if I'm ready to fight this war. I think I may bow out. I'm definitely fucking lying. I will be present on Twitter. Will I be tweeting? It depends on how insufferable these islanders are. If they're anything like last season's, I feel like for as feverish and torturous, that's not a word, but it's a word now. As feverish and as torturous, wait, is that a word? I don't have the time. As torturous as season 7 was, I did a really good job because in a former life, my timeline was just Love Island USA, Love Island USA, Love Island USA, Love Island USA during the season. But I had to step back because the takes I was seeing made me want to get violent. And social media should not do that. it should not make me want to get violent. But the way people act about Love Island USA these last couple seasons, it makes me want to get violent. So I have to step back. I have to come back to reality and remember that, and I have to put the phone down. And so I am hoping that I can maintain that sense of control over my fingers come season 8, because God, like I said, the takes that we got last season was just God. Euphoria and Love Island just bring out the worst in people. Like, oh dear God. But yes, June 2nd, be prepared for my weekly rants, my weekly gushings, because there's gonna be a couple that I'm obsessed with that's like clockwork. So I will be gushing about that. Yep. So just, if you ain't on island time, you got to go. Okay. Okay. The first teaser of Verity just dropped. I think it was like a what? How long was it? Maybe like a minute and a half. It literally might not have even been that. And of course, I don't have any apps downloaded on this phone. I deadass don't have the time for this. It's about a minute and 50 seconds long. When I tell you, I am so seated. And I need to go rewatch the teaser because I like kind of like, I watched it in a hurry. I was like, like the teaser dropped. Like I kind of, you know how like when something, you're excited for something and you kind of can't really be super present because you're just like excited for it and you don't really know what to expect. So you're just kind of like, but you can't really take it all in. And I feel like that's what happened when I first watched the teaser. So I need to rewatch it. But I remember like seeing a tweet, and it was, I think it was CinemaCon. It was when CinemaCon was happening, and they were talking about how a teaser, I think it was this teaser probably, that had been shown at CinemaCon, and Discussing Film had tweeted something like the teaser was showed at CinemaCon where Anne Hathaway and Dakota Johnson could be seen making out in the trailer. And I was like, wait a minute, what? Now don't get me wrong, Anne Hathaway, yes ma'am. And I'm just gonna put that, I'm just gonna leave that at that. I'm gonna keep it respectful. I'm gonna keep it cute. I'm gonna keep it very cute for Miss Hathaway because she is a beautiful woman who deserves respect. So I'm not mad at all. I'm not mad at all. But I was worried when I read that. I was like, okay. I was like, all right, now, like I said, absolutely sign me up, but don't mess my book up. But once I saw the teaser, I feel like I can make sense of why they did that. Well, not feel like, you absolutely can make sense of why they did that. And so I need to go like rewatch the trailer again before I can like really give my true thoughts on it. But it looks dark, which I'm glad. That book is absolutely insane. Speaking of adaptations, okay, Netflix. Netflix. I need you to come to the front of the room, please. Where in the hell is my 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo movie at? Because you've been playing with me for about 4 years now. When did we first get reports that Netflix was making that movie? I absolutely... Would you guys believe me if I told you I just forgot what the hell I was about to look up? But no, I swear we found out about that in 2021. I need just a little clarification here. What is going on? I feel like I read somewhere that there was some trouble with the director. Is that true? I feel like that's true. But we got to pick up the pace here, okay? I would like to see the 7 Husbands before I go. Okay? Okay? So I don't know what we got to do to make that happen. Do I need to get Netflix on the phone myself? Who do I need to call God? Who do I need to talk to? And you know, I feel like it's almost gotten to a point where it's like, it's been so long. I'm kind of like, maybe there's a reason we're not getting this. Maybe something's not right. Maybe something's in the water. Something, I don't know. I'm a little worried. I am a little worried. Okay. For those of you who are new here, which is all of you, I have the Regal Movie Pass. So this means that I go to the movies about 1 to 3 times a week. So we will be doing regular movie updates, okay? Okay. Whether you want to hear it or not, I will be talking about the movies I see. So we're going to go ahead and kick this shit off with, I saw The Devil Wears Prada 2. And before I go any further, okay, we have to have a conversation. When did we lose movie etiquette? Movie etiquette is like, it's extinct. I'm getting like irritated thinking about this. I went to the movies and I saw The Devil Wears Prada. And this is not the first, it won't be the last. I feel like every time I go to the movies, I am reminded that literally nobody seems to have movie theater etiquette anymore. Okay, first of all, talking during the movie is a cardinal sin. You need to be, let me be careful with my words. Being distracting during a movie is a cardinal sin in my book. That is punishable by death. I'm willing to bet my life that the pandemic is exactly where it started, because people got so comfortable with watching movies in their home that they forgot that the way that you act at home does not translate to how you're supposed to act in the theater. Have you ever been in a movie and you're sitting next to people and they speak the entire movie? And not only do they speak, they don't whisper, they speak at full volume throughout the entire movie. Punishable by death. Punishable by death. Okay? Okay? You must suffer the consequences, because you're ruining the movie is my escape, okay? If there's one thing I can count on in my day-to-day life, if there's one thing that I can look to as a safe haven, as a place to just escape the monstrosities of life that we deal with every single day, it's the movies. And you mean to tell me that I spend $30 a month on my Regal Unlimited, $30 a month on my Regal Unlimited, and I can't enjoy a single movie without a cell phone light in my face, without somebody smacking on their food like the usher, like they have to hurry up and eat before the ushers run up the stairs and yank the food out of their hands. And I'm a firm believer that the way you act in a movie theater is a tell on your character. There are certain things about the movie going experience that I feel like lends great insight to how you are as a person. And hear me out, because I feel like this sounds dramatic, but once I break it down, I feel like you'll understand where I'm getting at. Okay. 1, a person who does not clean up after themselves in the movie theater. I understand, like, say you spilled like your popcorn, maybe like you can't clean it all up by yourself or whatever. But a person who leaves any of their trash, like you leave your soda cup in the chair, you leave your popcorn bucket on the table, you leave your spill on the little pull-out table that every damn recliner movie theater has now. Leaving the theater dirty, your spot dirty, you're just a bad person. Sorry. I don't make the rules. I just enforce them. 2, if you cannot sit in a movie theater for 2 hours without pulling your phone out. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like I've never pulled my phone out in a theater, because I would just be lying to you. And I don't lie, okay? I've done it. But people who leave their phones sitting out and they're just scrolling, and then to have the brightness up. There are so many times I've gone to the movies and a person will pull their phone out. They're like sitting in front of me and they'll just have their phone out. They're just scrolling, brightness up. To have a lack of awareness like that is just insane to me. But I'm getting off topic. Well, I'm on topic, but I'm getting distracted. 3, talking. Now, I understand going to the movie with a friend and like whispering every now and then, reacting to the movie together every now and then, emphasis on now and then. But please, if you sit and you speak the entire movie, you have no respect for others around you. And I am a firm believer on that. If you do those 3 things throughout the movie, you don't clean up after yourself, you are on your phone the entire time, extra points for the brightness up, and you're talking, please, 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 spare us all. We have got to do better, people, okay? There's no way that you can feel good about yourself acting like that in movie theater. There's no way. There's no way. But yes, so I saw The Devil Wears Prada 2 and I loved it. I loved it. I think it did a really good job as a sequel. Yeah, we got to merrily we roll along. We got to push this on. So I enjoyed The Devil Wears Prada 2, and we will get more into detail on that next time we speak. Next time get here earlier so we can break things down a little bit better, okay? Thank you. Again, I will have to bill you for the inconvenience. This is becoming a habit. Okay, because I have already been talking into this microphone for damn near an hour. We're just gonna go ahead and usher on into this is like a church service where like you only signed up for like an hour and a half, an hour long sermon, and it's like it's 4 o'clock. You got here at 8 a.m. and it's 4 o'clock and just got done with tithes and offering. Like the choir just got off the stage and you still got to go through the sermon. Like unfortunately that it's giving Baptist church. It's giving Southern Baptist church. Um so bear with me, okay? I'm trying my damnedest. I'm trying my best. Okay, this week I want to talk about, I figured the perfect way to like kick this show off is to start with a show that truly defined me growing up. There are some shows that I feel like, there are shows that you watched as a kid and you're like, yeah, like I loved this show as a kid. I loved it, it was my go-to. But then you have those shows as a kid that like defined who you were, who, as if the show is a person. That you have those shows that like defined who you were, that like made you who you are, that still hold weight in your life like as you've grown up. And that one of those shows for me is Glee. Glee, the show that you are. Now I know, I know people have their qualms with Mr. Ryan Murphy, but that man, I forgive that man. I forgive that young man because he gave me Glee. And quite frankly, I don't. Can y'all hear them birds? They are quite noisy today. They've got a lot to say. I guess they enjoy Glee as well. Um, oh my God. I swear to God, it's like the bird is sitting right outside my freaking window. I feel like I'm at the zoo today between the dog barking and the birds chirping. We are at San Diego Safari Park right now. Glee is a show that truly, let me tell you, I was the most insufferable person an obnoxious person you probably could have ever met when I was in middle school. And Glee is the sole reason to blame for that. I was the most insufferable, obnoxious little girl that you couldn't even wrap your head around. I truly found my personality through Glee. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing because Glee is problematic as hell in the best way. And I've been seeing like a lot of conversations on Twitter about whether or not Glee could have been made in 2026 or honestly post 2020. And I am here to say that is a firm no. It absolutely could not have been made in from 2020 on. But does it still hold up? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I feel like Glee is one of those shows that came at the perfect moment. It could not have happened any earlier or any later in our timeline, or else it would have been probably like a one season wonder. That's probably all it would have been, and would have went on to be just like a cult classic that like the smallest a group of people know about. Glee came out at the perfect time and it gave us everything we needed. Okay, that Glee defined, and I feel like a lot of people like Gen Alpha. That's after Gen Z, right? Gen Alpha, even like late Gen Z, you had to be there to truly understand what Glee was. Like I've seen people who are like trying to watch Glee now and they're like, this is a show that y'all were so obsessed with. And it's like, you either get it or you don't. Good TV is good TV, and Glee is good TV. So if you don't get it, then you are just an idiot, unfortunately for you. Glee made me the truest version of myself, the most insufferable person, the most obnoxious girl, walking down the hallway with, let me tell you, honey, I keep a gay on my arm even when I was in middle school, okay? And so me and my little white gay best friend from middle school, we would run down them halls, skip down them halls, stroll, pounce, whatever adjectives you want to use down those halls. We're singing Glee all day. No one can stop us. The hallways of Greenbrier Middle School hated to see us, hated to hear us coming. And it's one of those shows that it has stuck with me. It's not something I loved as a kid and just like admire from afar, like, oh, I love that show as a kid. No. Glee is going to get a rewatch from me every year, multiple times a year. Okay? All that to say, I decided I'm going to kick this show off with a bang, and I'm going to do a ranking. We are going to do a ranking of Glee covers and Glee episodes, because y'all can say whatever the hell y'all want, but Glee could cover the hell out of a song, okay? For the people who don't know, Glee would release a song, or, you know, the episodes would come out, and the songs from the episodes would literally chart. Not like at the bubbling under or at the bottom of the charts. No, like they had top 10 hits, because a lot of times Glee would take a song and make it better. And that's no shade, no tea to whoever the original artist would be, but it was absolutely insane what Glee was doing. So I have talked enough. We are just going to go ahead and move right into the ranking, because I just looked at the timer and bitch, I've been talking for almost 2 hours. Oh my God. We got to move this along. But I'm going to give my top 10 songs and episodes. But before we get into that, I kind of just like wrote down what my, like, when I think about these characters, what my first thoughts that come to mind about them are. And so I just want to like go through a few of them. Kurt. Okay, like I said, I kept a gay. I keep a gay on my arm. Kurt would have been my gay. If I went to William McKinley High School, Kurt would have been my gay. Would he have gotten on my nerves? Absolutely. Would I have had to step out of the classroom every time he had a solo? Absolutely. I love Kurt down. I'm not sitting down for a solo. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, every time Kurt has a solo, skip. And that's no shade. Beautiful gowns. Unfortunately, I just can't do it with the voice, but that would have absolutely been my gay, okay? Unfortunately, Rachel Berry, I would have loved to hate her, and I also would have hated to love her. Like, there's something so endearing about a person who is obnoxiously themselves. And like I said, I was an obnoxious, I'm still kind of obnoxious, but I was an obnoxious ass 11 and 12-year-old. But I can honestly say that is when I was truly the most myself. And it makes sense. When you are so yourself, you don't care. You are going to live in who you are and be who that is. And that's exactly what Rachel Berry was. So I would have admired that about her, and I would have hated to love her, and I would have loved to hate her. Like, and that's really just all I have to say about Rachel. Santana would have absolutely hated me, but I would have been in love with her. And I would have just been like begging for her to see me. Hey girl, I don't even care. Like, you can insult me. Just acknowledge my presence, please. I would have been desperate for her to like me. Like, please, just a crumb of attention, please. Please, Santana, just a crumb. Blaine wouldn't have been my gay because I would have been in love with him. Blaine Warbler Anderson. Oh my God, I would have been on that. Tina, I get you. I completely understand being in love with him. That Blaine Anderson could sing me into bed. I don't care. Sorry, Kurt. You my gay and all, but you got to come up off that. Finn, I feel like me and Finn would have like existed in like separate orbits. I don't think me and Finn would have really had much to say to each other. We would see each other in the hallway and be like, maybe like a slight nod, but I cannot imagine me and Finn having conversation. I don't think we would have. But he's also so goofy, and like, I love an awkward, nerdy guy. He's like low-key awkward and nerdy. Not even low-key, he's very awkward and nerdy. Despite the football, the quarterback of it all, that man was nerdy and awkward. So I actually probably would have actually had a crush on Finn, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. If I'm really thinking about me, I would have absolutely had a crush on Finn. Child, Tina absolutely would have got on my damn nerves. Like, Tina, don't even speak, Tina. Don't even open your mouth. She would have got on my nerves. Just, I can't. And there's nothing even deep there. She just gets on my nerves. Like, I feel like every time she opened her mouth on that show, she was complaining about something. And I can't. Me and Tina Cohen Chang have beef. I probably would have forgotten Mike existed, to be quite honest with you. I know his scripts were small as hell. Like, he probably had maybe like one page of highlight in each script. I feel like the only few episodes I truly recall him like really speaking a lot in is Asian F. Yeah, I would have forgotten he existed. Like, I'm sure most of them did. Artie, I would have let him say the N-word. I'm ashamed to say it. I'm ashamed to say that. I would have let Artie say that. Only when he's singing a song, though. Only when he's singing a song. Mm-hmm. Yep. And I don't need to elaborate on that further. Brittany would piss me off, but unfortunately, I feel like you just have to protect stupid people because they can't protect themselves. And so Brittany would have pissed me off like no other, but I would have been like, y'all, she's just dumb. Like, just cut her some slack. Like, you have to protect stupid people. And so Brittany would have had me in her corner, even though she would have pissed me off a lot. Sue, unfortunately, I would have wanted Sue to like me so bad. There's something about a person who does not like anyone and makes me want them to like more. It makes me want them to like me more. You know what? I don't even know if that was English, but you should understand what I'm saying. And you know, the thing about me is I'm a firm believer that I can make anybody like me. And so that's probably the delusion, the delusional world that I live in. But I feel like anybody can like me. And so I think I could have absolutely Sue would have hated to love me. She would have hated to love me. And that's, yep, I'm standing on that. Will Schuester, don't ask me shit about Will Schuester. Like, I can't even conceptualize what our relationship would have been like because he is just not a real person to me. Everything about Will Schuester was so unserious. He was not real. You know what? Glee conspiracy theory. I don't think the Glee Club was not real. The Glee Club, he made all that shit up in his head because he hated his life as a Spanish teacher so bad. He made up the Glee Club and the Glee kids as a figment of his imagination. A figment of his imagination. That is my Glee theory. My Glee conspiracy theory, and I'm dying on that hill. Let's go ahead and move on to the covers because, bruh. Been talking for so long. Y'all gotta bear with me. I gotta get used to like just talking. Let me take that back because I talk to myself all the time, but I have to get used to like being present here and like talking to the mic, talking to the camera, talking to y'all. Like, I have to get used to that again. So bear with me. All right, let's move into the covers. We have honorable mentions, and I'm not really going to go too deep into them because they're honorable mentions. All right, honorable mentions in no particular order. River Deep, Mountain High, because duh, they were robbed of the duet. They should have won. Trouty Mouth, because duh. First of all, that was Shakespearean, okay? Santana Lopez, the songwriter of our generation. She is the songwriter of our generation, okay? Guppy Face, Froggy Lips, wanna put a fish hook in those lips so cherry red. If you tried hard enough, you could suck a baby's head. That is Shakespearean, okay? Billy Shakespeare could only imagine putting words like that together. He couldn't even conceptualize it. He couldn't fathom it, okay? The songwriter of our generation. Anything goes, anything you can do, not elaborating, it's just good. Me Against the Music, not elaborating. You saw the episode, you saw the video, case closed. I Feel Pretty, Unpretty, was cute. I thought that was a cute little mashup. Sweet Transvestite, first of all, any song Amber Riley is wailing on like that, sign me the fuck up. Okay, that girl, Sweet Transvestite. And then this was a new development that I realized as I was recently rewatching Just the Way You Are. Like, I was actually in tears. And I feel like with Finn, I either really love his covers or I don't care for him at all. And that is one that I've recently started to love. Like, that was the first episode and I was literally in my bed bawling like a baby. That was a new development. That has never happened before. And so I feel like that in itself made it worth an honorable mention. So now we will move into my top 10 songs, okay? And I feel like I'm gonna go 10 up. So like the first 10 through 6, I feel like are not in any particular order, but like I feel like once we get to like 5 and up, that's pretty much particular order. So at 10, we got It's All Over. Like, come on. I really don't need to elaborate. The costuming, first of all, when Kurt parted his lips and sang, yeah, well, it's between me two. I'm as much a part of this group as anybody else, and I'm tired of it. That in itself put that right at number 10. Them switching out the names for each other's names. You in this with them too, Puck? Please. 9, Shake It Out. I feel like that is an underrated Glee cover. And I could be wrong because I feel like I don't really have much intel, much radar on what people rank as the top covers, but I don't feel like I hear people talk about this. Shake It Out is so good, especially like the context. I think one thing that really goes into my rankings with Glee covers too, the context of like how the song was used, the storyline of the song, obviously who sang it, but when Beast was dealing with the domestic violence of it all, and they sung Shake It Out to her to give her courage to leave. Like, it was so beautiful. And then I love anytime we get a Santana and Mercedes heavy track. They did not optimize. They did not They did not take advantage of having those two voices enough for me. Number 8, You and I / You and I. That is from season 3. The mash, or the when the treble tones went against the New Directions. I can't think of what the mash off. There we go. I'm pretty sure you can find that in my like 2025. And like you can find that in my replay. Actually, you can probably find a lot of Glee songs in my replays over the years. Number 7 is Somewhere Only We Know. I mean, do I really even have to explain it? I feel like I really don't. All I know is Blaine would not have even needed to finish that song because I would have been re-enrolling in Dalton Academy. Number 6 is Sing by My Chemical Romance. Now, there are a lot of songs, and people will probably shame me for this. There are a lot of songs that I had never heard until Glee. And this is one of them. And as far as I'm concerned, it's the better version. Okay? A very specific experience that I feel like only Glee watchers have had. Well, duh, because we're talking about Glee covers. Duh. But a very specific experience is loving a Glee cover, and then you go listen to the original because you're like, damn, the original has to be even better. And then it's disappointment. There are songs that I literally will only listen to the Glee version of, and Sing is one of them. I'm sorry to My Chemical Romance. Thank you for the song. Beautiful song. I will be taking the Glee cover though. I will be taking the lead cover. 5. Now this is where it starts. I'd say the top 5 are pretty much in order here. 5, It's Not Unusual. What a way to make your entrance at your new school. I completely understand why Finn was threatened by Blaine. Imagine your first day at your new school and you bust out in the courtyard with pipes like that, you're people are bopping in the courtyard, especially considering the fact that everyone hated the Glee Club, but they're just dancing along and singing along to Blaine. Like, come on. I can't go for that. You make my dreams come true. Also from the Mash Off episode. Glee, I love a Glee mashup. And I really don't even need to say much more than that. There's 1, 2, 3 mashups on my top 10 list. Number 3, Valerie. Again, they did not use Santana enough. Valerie is another Glee cover that you will find in my Apple replays every year. You will find Valerie in my replay every single year. And I will say that is not a song that I, only listen to the Glee version of. Both versions are fucking incredible. But I typically do go for the Glee one first, just because that's the one I honestly have listened to the most. And so when I think of the song Valerie, I'm like, oh, Santana's song. Even though, no disrespect to Miss Winehouse, because she ate that up absolutely. But I just love me some Santana Lopez, some Naya Rivera. And I'm not even going to take it there because I can't do it today. I can't. Number 2, Blame It on the Alcohol. Again, Artie, I would have absolutely... Artie saying the N-word. He said the N-word. I didn't hear it. I didn't hear a thing. That cover, real ones know Kevin McHale from NLT. The girls who get it, get it. The girls who know. Artie absolutely destroying positive the black songs. It just makes sense, okay? Any R&B cover you gave Artie, he was absolutely going to kill it, okay? Let Me Love You, PYT, My Brain is escaping me right now. Stop in the Name of Love. Any song by a black artist, give it to Artie Abrams. Give it to Artie. And yes, he can say the N-word if the word's in it, okay? Okay? I'm sorry. Again, I don't make the rules. I just enforce them. It's above me. No, but Blame It on the Alcohol is a top. That entire episode is just cinema from start to finish. And then for my number 1, Singing in the Rain, Umbrella. I'm sorry. I can't even put into words what that cover means to me. I was recently rewatching that episode. I Lie to You Not. It happens at the end of that song happens at the end of the episode. I rewinded that song 6 times. I quite literally had to say, okay, Brianna, this is the last time you can watch this. Then you got to turn it off. That cover from the background, to the choreo, to the costumes, to the rain. First of all, can we talk about how they would be throwing these big budget ass performances in the auditorium and then scrapping and scrounging for change when it's time for a competition? You selling saltwater taffy. Baby, all your money went to the Singing in the Rain performance, okay? You spent your entire competition budget on that performance alone. But that's okay, because that was pure cinema, and it was worth every penny that they spent on that. Okay, that cover ignites something in me. It starts at my toes. It starts at my toes, and it just a searing fire just blazes up to the tippy top of my scalp when I hear that song, and I'm levitating. Nobody gets that cover like I do. Nobody. Will Schuester, like I said, you're not a real person. Will Schuester is not a real person. But anytime that cover is on, he can exist. Okay? He exists for those 3 minutes and those 3 minutes only. Outside of that, wouldn't know a thing. He could walk right past me and I wouldn't know a thing. Sorry to that man. But for those 3 minutes, Will Schuester, you are right in my book. So those are my covers. And this was hard. I feel like this certain songs can be like, what's the word? Not non-transferable. We're just going to go with switched out because words are escaping right now. Some of those songs can be switched out for others. I think this is based off of how I feel like my Glee songs, they change. At least the bottom five, they change probably like every 6 months, every year. Um, but as of right now, as of May 6th, 2026 at 5:06 p.m. PST, those are my top 10, and I'm not arguing about it because what is rule number one of No, I'm Obsessed? I have factual opinions only, okay? All right, let's move on to, I did add songs they should have covered. Oh, you guys, I've been talking for literally 2 hours, but I have to do this. Okay. I just wrote down a few songs that they absolutely should have covered, and I'm not gonna do a whole bunch of talking. I'm just gonna list them off. Okay? All right? And the explanation is implied. If you should be able to get it. If you watch Glee, then you should get it. Okay. Viva La Vida, Blaine. How did we not get a Blaine Viva La Vida cover? Are you kidding me? That is a crime against humanity. A sin against nature. We absolutely, and have you ever heard a song and you're like, oh, they sang this on Glee, and then you found out they didn't, and you're like, wait a minute, but that is such a Glee song. Viva La Vida is a Glee song. More specifically, it is a Blaine song, and so it escapes me. I don't understand how they just did not, how they dropped the ball on that. 2, Distraction by Kehlani. Now, Glee ended in what? 2016. I feel like Distraction came out in 2016, so it didn't, the timelines didn't work for that. But in a perfect world, I would have loved Santana and on Distraction with choreo. It would have ate. And I really don't need to elaborate further. There are certain songs you can just hear it. As soon as you can hear it in that character's voice. I can hear Santana singing it to me right now. She sounds really good. She sounds phenomenal. Number 3, Ain't It Fun? Now this, I put Rachel and Blaine. I feel like it could work. Just put your pitchforks down. I feel like that could work. And I'm not really a big fan of Rachel's Only Exception cover, so I feel iffy giving her another Paramore cover, but I feel like it could work. Strong could. But I do know Blaine could kill it, because Blaine destroys literally everything he touches. Positive. 4, Jealous by Nick Jonas. How did we not get Artie singing Jealous? Another case of I can literally hear him singing it in my head right now. Kevin McHale, if you see this, can you please post a cover of you singing Jealous by Nick Jonas? Because Ryan Murphy deprived us of that, and I feel like the people, we need that. We really need that. So, honestly, I feel like you could even argue Blaine here. I can hear it. I can kind of hear that. I can hear it. Darren Criss or Kevin McHale, whoever gets to it first. Yep. I'm throwing y'all that bone. Y'all can fight for it, okay? Somebody just needs to get to that cover quickly before I get impatient. I've been waiting 12 years for this. So 5, Lions, Tigers, and Bears by Jasmine Sullivan. Mercedes, clearly. Like, that doesn't really even need much explanation. I am irritated that they wasted, I don't want to even say wasted, because it was obviously a good cover, because it's Amber Riley. But of all the Jasmine Sullivan songs, I would have loved for her to do Lions, Tigers, and Bears. And I even think it could have worked as a duet. Picture it. Wait a minute. And I know I said I was about to do a whole bunch of explaining, but I have to, because I see the vision so clearly for this song. I see it so clearly. This would have happened season 3, okay? When Santana is struggling to come out, like, she's basically like been outed already. She still is like, people are looking at her in the hallways, and she's with Brittany, but she still has like she's going through a lot, okay? And then we have Mercedes, who has these feelings for Sam, but she can't act on him because the football player she was dating, she cheated on him with Sam, but she's like, so I can't be with you because I don't know who I am anymore, blah blah blah. And then it cuts to them both, Santana struggling, because she's about to get outed, and Mercedes is struggling because she loves Sam, but she doesn't know who she is. And so they walk away from Brittany, and Santana walks away from Brittany, and Mercedes walks away from Sam, and they're holding their binders and their books, and then we get doom, doom, doom. I'm not scared of lions and tigers and bears, but I'm scared of loving you. Come on, tell me you can't see it. And you can't tell me you can't see it because I just laid it all out for you. Okay, thank you. My case has been made. 6, Should Have Been Us by Tori Kelly, and I'm pretty sure that works for the timeline. I think Santana maybe could have killed this. I think Santana could have done this. I also think obviously Mercedes, because again, it's Mercedes. And I don't really need to elaborate much further on that. Pillow Talk. Pillow Talk is a black song. Yes, Pillow Talk is by Zayn, a non-black POC, but Pillow Talk is a black song. Go to any black person and say, what's your favorite song by Zayn? So we'll piss off the neighbors. And what did I say about Artie and black songs? Okay, exactly. I don't even need to elaborate anymore. And then my last cover that I would have loved to hear, Can We Talk by Tevin Campbell, covered by who? Artie. Thank you. Another black song. I rest my case. All right, now we can move on to episodes, and I genuinely don't have it in me to do the honorable mentions right now. I really don't. I don't have it in me. So maybe I will just post my honorable mentions, and all right, we're just going to go straight to my top 10. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, this list does not contain any episodes from seasons 1, 4, 5, or 6. As far as I'm concerned, Glee's magnum opus seasons are 2 and 3. And I was actually talking to my best friend about this recently because I've been recently rewatching Glee, and I spent a lot of time thinking season 3 is the best season. And after going back and rewatching season 2, I can firmly say season 2 is Glee's best season. You know, when a show fully knows who they are, what they want it to be, but they can't go all the way there because, you know, it's like their first season, they still have to make sure that they get renewed. They only have so much time, budget, and money to work with because it's the first season. You still don't know how popular it's going to be, how many seasons you're going to get, what the success of the show is going to look like. I think Glee season 2 is Glee at its best. I think Glee season 2 is when they hit their stride. It had blown up. They were able to like do the things that they wanted. It was still early, so there was still a lot to explore with characters. Like, Glee is, when I tell you, from episode 1 of season 2 to the finale of season 2, I was cackling. And I love season 3 still, but there are episodes that like I will skip to this day. I skip Pot of Gold because, sorry Rory, I really don't care about Rory at all. I don't care about him at all. I usually will skip Asian F. I watch it sometimes, but I kind of don't really like I don't really care for the West Side Story of it all. So that gets skipped sometimes. But season 2, banger after 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 banger. I just say it 22 times since there's 22 episodes in the season. But no, season 2 is Glee at its finest. Like, when they really hit their stride, when they really when they really were able to like double down on who they are, on what the show is, what these characters are, like what they bring to the table. Season 2 is like Glee at its best. And that's not to say that I think season 3 is its peak. I'm sorry. Once the originals graduated, season 4 wasn't bad, but once the originals graduated, it lost some of its luster. Season 3 it's phenomenal, but season 2 is like really Glee at its absolute best. All that to say, you are not going to find season 1, 4, 5, and 6 on this list, and so you're going to have to take that up with Jesus himself. At 10, we have Audition, which is season 2, episode 1. They came in season 2 with a point to prove. They got that renewal and came back with a vengeance. That episode was insane. From the fever dream. Imagine being in the bathroom, just minding your business, singing your song, and then you got some little white girl all up in your ear. Sorry, I cannot hear you. I'm kind of busy. I would have been like, hold up, girl. What's going on? If Sunshine Corazon decided to whoop Rachel's ass, she would have been well within her rights too. She violated her multiple times throughout that episode, sending her, being all up in her face like that while she was simply enjoying her music. You cannot exist as a person of color around white people without them being offended in some way. Like, and Rachel was like a perfect example of that. Between her getting all up in her grill while she was singing her song and during her bathroom break, and sending her to an active crack house, Sunshine Corazon should have put belt to ass on Rachel Berry, and she would have been well within her rights. Number 9, we got Grilled Cheeses. Another season 2 episode. I really feel like a lot of these are like self-explanatory. Like, it's grilled cheeses. I feel like you cannot have a Glee ranking without the grilled cheeses episode. Praying to a grilled cheese sandwich so you can touch your girlfriend's boobs. Like, that literally sounds like a Mad Lib sentence. And it was one of the most iconic episodes of the season. Again, only Ryan Murphy. Again, that young man. I forgive that young man. Ryan Murphy can do whatever he wants for the rest of his career because he gave me Glee. And as far as I'm concerned, he is good in my book for that alone. You gave me Glee, and there is not much else I can ask you for from there. 8, again, season 2, Brittany. Really don't even need to elaborate there. Another episode that needs to be in if you are ranking Glee episodes and Brittany is not in it, your ranking is automatically a moot point. Like, it is invalid. You cannot have a Glee ranking of the top 10 episodes without Brittany. 7, Mash Off, which makes sense, again, because I have a lot of songs from that episode in my top 10 covers. But I will say, it's funny because I can love an episode, but not love the covers in the episode, which, I mean, duh, of course it's possible, but I feel like it's something you would think would correlate a lot. Anywho, Mash Off. I actually just rewatched that episode, actually. What did you just say to her? You're lying. I said you were really good. I'm sorry. That was a serious moment, and I'm like making a joke out of it. But the way what did you just say to her? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. At 6, we have The Substitute. Anytime Holly Holiday was on, you know it was going to be a good episode. Sexy, Night of Neglect, The Substitute, all iconic episodes. Gwyneth Paltrow as Holly Holiday I think Holly Holiday was the best guest member that they had. Yep. I am so sorry if you can hear this trash truck. I'm so sorry if you can hear this. Oh yeah, you can definitely hear that. 5, Michael. Again, not much explanation needs to be said here. Give me Michael Jackson music, Sam Sadie's, the Smooth Criminal cover. That's really, like, there's not much else that needs to be said there. A top 5 Glee episode. Again, if the Michael episode is not in your ranking you need to do some rethinking. Season 4, episode 4. Season 4 does not live here. Sorry. Number 4 on the list, Comeback from season 2. Bro, the episode starting off with Sue writing her suicide note was insane. Sue is another one of those characters that just would never have survived post 2020 or 2020 on or anything before that. Like, Sue Sylvester is a character that came exactly when she was supposed to, because she would be canceled. Sue Sylvester would be canceled in 2026, in the year of our Lord 2026. I also have to say, Will's ass did not care about them kids. How do you let a teacher who physically assaults students, who has leaked your set list to other Glee clubs that you were competing against, who has tried to shoot one of your students out of a cannon, how do you keep letting her come back to your Glee club? Will Schuester did not care about them kids. He never protected them from Sue Sylvester. He was the true villain, okay? Because you expect Sue to be Sue, but that teacher, Will Schuster, did not protect them students at all. At number 3, we have duets. And I really don't need to do much explaining here. Like, we got Lucky, we got River Deep Mountain High, and I'm sorry, I know the Born Again cover was problematic and the outfits, but they ate that up, unfortunately. Yeah, duets is an iconic episode. And then at number 2, I feel like based on the covers, you can probably guess what my, well, like based on what my top 10 covers were, you can probably guess on what the last or what my top 2 episodes are going to be here. Blame It on the Alcohol is at number 2 because it's Blame It on the Alcohol. Just an iconic episode. Can you tell I'm getting antsy? Like my legs, I can't stop shaking. I'm off the Alani, honey. Now honestly, I really don't feel like that did much for me. But yeah, I'm sorry. I'm shaking like a stripper. Blame It on the Alcohol is a top 2 Glee episode. It's for the hair of the dog that done bit your ass. Can you guys guess what number 1 is? I feel like this is a popular, if I'm not mistaken, I feel like this is a pretty popular episode. Can you guys guess? I'm gonna give you like 10 seconds to guess. Okay, time's up. At number 1, we have the Rocky Horror Glee show. The Rocky Horror Glee episode is a perfect use of filler. It was entertaining. It didn't feel out of place. Like, it was filler. It was very obviously a filler episode, but it still fit well within the Glee storyline. It didn't feel like y'all just didn't know what else to do, huh? You could argue that it's important to the season. I feel like Glee season 2 without the Rocky Horror Picture episode is one of the episodes of the season that truly defines the greatness of season 2. And this may be me this may be me. This may be me being biased, but I genuinely feel like if you took out the Rocky Horror episode, like, yes, like the storylines wouldn't have changed per se, but it is a defining episode of the season. Like, when I think about season 2, the first thing I think about is Rocky Horror. Like, it is quite literally the perfect use of filler. You got more insight into the characters. And this is something me and my friend were talking about. Like, with these new shows, these 8-episode, 10-episode shows, you don't get to get, everything has to be go, 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 go. And you don't get to have filler episodes. And when you do have filler episodes, it feels like a waste of time because like, we don't have much time to work with. But on long TV shows like Glee, where you were getting 21 episodes a season, the filler episodes could be used to make you love characters more, to gain more insight into character struggles, without, impeding on the storyline, which is exactly what the Rocky Horror episode did. They talked about like the body dysmorphia and the body image issues that the guys have been facing. We see more of the power struggle that Will is having with Emma and Carl in the relationship. You see Sue going undercover because she wants her, I need my local Emmy, Will. Like, you get more insight into these characters. You see them be these characters. You grow more care for these characters because they're taking time out of the season to they don't have to push the storyline along every episode. It's just, hey, spend some time with these characters and learn more about them and their struggles and learn more about them and their dynamics with different characters. Like, we see Mercedes, she's like, I told myself that I want to be a leading lady, and so I'm going to take the Frankenfurter role. We see little moments of Mercedes growing into herself. We see moments of Mike Chang wanting to grow into himself as a performer because he wants to play Frankenfurter. His parents ex-nate that, but still the point stands. We get more moments from these characters that you wouldn't necessarily get if this had been a 10, 12 episode season show. So filler is important. I don't even know how I got on that rant, but filler is important, okay? And the Rocky Horror Picture Glee show is a perfect example of that. And I feel like that is a perfect way to end the ranking off. I mean, it was number one, so that was the end of the ranking regardless. But that rant is the perfect way to send this shit off. Glee is the defining show of my life. Glee is a show that I will make my children watch. Ain't no Cocomelon in it. Ain't no Cocomelon. Ain't no Bluey in this house. It's Rocky Horror Picture Glee Show. It's Rocky Horror Glee Picture Show, okay? You better sit down on this couch and you better watch Rumors episode, okay? You better sit on this couch and you better watch auditions. You better sit on this couch and you better watch grilled cheeses, okay? My children will be raised on Glee. As for me and my household, we worship Glee. The people who were there for Glee, like the Gleeks, are founding members of our society, if you really think about it. And no, I will not be elaborating on that further because I said what I said and my opinions are factual. Rule number one. Glee is a generation defining show. Glee is a show that has meant to me, will always mean so much to me. I've built friendships off Glee. I have come into my own through Glee. I have found laughs, tears, happiness, sadness, all the emotions. I found that through Glee. I think when I really think about it, I think Glee is like one of the first, because I started watching Glee at 10 years old. I feel like Glee is one of the first few shows that I can like recall in my pre-teendom. I don't know if that's the word. I just made it a word. If it's not, we do that here. We make our own words. Glee is one of the first few shows of my pre-teendom that I really feel like I experienced like waves of emotions. Like I was laughing. Characters made me angry. I cried. I was happy. I was indifferent. Like I feel like TV shows like really teach you not only about like the world, but they teach you about yourself. And I feel like Glee taught me so much about myself. It taught me how much TV shows really like impact me emotionally. And I don't think I would be who I am without Glee at the foundation of my personality, to be 100% honest. Like, I feel like you can find bits of every Glee character in me. And I just will always be grateful to Glee. And I'm like getting oddly emotional right now about how I feel about Glee. And nobody asked for nobody asked for fucking eulogy of Glee on this show. But guess what? You're getting it. I truly don't think that I would be who I am today without Glee. And I think we need more shows like Glee. A show where characters are allowed to be insufferable, a show where characters are allowed to be idiots, a show where characters are allowed to be problematic because people are problematic. And this all sounds so dramatic, but I truly don't care. Like Glee was ahead of its time and also made at the perfect time, as I've said before. But yeah, there is no show like Glee. There will never be a show like Glee. And that was the perfect way to start my show off because I truly don't think that there is a show more me than Glee is. Let's do some housekeeping because, bitch, I have been talking for, that says 2 hours and 22 minutes. You will not see a 2 hour and 22 minute episode, but that is currently what we are at right now. Gonna have to try and trim this down to at least an hour and a half. God be with me. But you guys, we are gonna have our first guest next week. I'm not gonna say who, because I want this to be a surprise. Like I feel like my first guest has to be like a moment, and I don't want to spoil it. And so, but I gave something away. He is from a show that I absolutely loved in high school. Me and my best friend watched this religiously in high school until I got canceled, which we were devastated about. But I am so excited to have him on here. Maybe 2 years ago, the last time I interviewed someone. And so I'm nervous. So please bear with me on that next episode. I think it should be, we've built kind of a rapport. I'm not going to say we're friends because that is just me being like delusionally optimistic. Maybe at the end of the episode we'll be friends. Yeah, I feel like we've built some rapport. So hopefully like I won't be too nervous and it'll flow really well. But I'm so excited. I can't wait for you guys to see the episode. I can't wait to put my interviewing skills back to work. It's like a muscle you gotta flex every now and then. I haven't flexed it in a while, so we'll see how that goes. And then I have another interview. The date hasn't been picked up yet, but I will have another guest in the coming weeks as well. This is a one-woman show, but I want to have guests on as much as I can, just because I really, as much as I can sit here and chat, as much as I can like shoot the shit here, it's so much more fun when you can do it with another person. And so, yeah, I want to have guests on as much as I can, as much as my platform will allow me to. If you want to guess who the guest is going to be, I will just say that, actually, I'm not going to say anything. Just, yeah, I think it's going to be really fun. So thank you guys for sitting here and tuning in. Sorry. I have to end this properly. Attention all passengers. This is your flight attendant Brianna Stewart with Noam Assist Airways. We have officially landed in Kuwait. Thank you for your patience on this 18-hour flight. And thank you to the 3 passengers who switched out and played pilot for a little bit for us. Thank you. The pilot is very grateful for your assistance, as we would have not made it without you. If you have any Biscoff cookies left over, please do not toss them away. We need to save leftovers for our next flight. As I said, this is a downgrade from Spirit Airways, and unfortunately, this is just how we have to do things around here, okay? Any leftover floss cups that you have, please leave those as well, as yes, they are paper, but the next passengers are just gonna have to deal with little soggy cups. Thank you so much for flying Noam Obsessed Airways. Again, please be sure to leave a 5-star, no less than 4-star review on Yelp or Google reviews, wherever you so see fit. We will see you back next time. Thank you, and you enjoy your time in Kuwait.